Week Baseball is presented by Mitsubishi Motors. This afternoon, the St. Louis Cardinals look for an early sweep against the Cincinnati Reds. Tony La Russa turns to Brad Penny this afternoon.
Boy, he should win double figures for it. He's got a lot of talent. He's the right place in his career for experience. He's got his health back. I know he's, listening to Dunk, and Dunk's tweaking him here and there. So, I think he'll do his job. Then we got to defend and score some runs.
Welcome to Day Baseball with Al Rabowski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals looking for a sweep this afternoon over Cincinnati. And so far, so good to start this 2010 campaign. Ryan Franklin, little shaky in the ninth last night. Defense pulled him out, and very good starting pitching in the first two games, Al.
And that's something we all look forward to today. We want to see how Brad Penny responds to the tutelage of Dave Duncan. Forget about what happened in Boston. What the Cardinals are concentrating is how well he finished the season with San Francisco. 4-1, good ERA. This guy's been a real winner in the past, and hopefully he can do that with a lot of offense here with the Redbirds.
We hope he's a workhorse this year. Bronson Arroyo has been a workhorse in his career in Cincinnati. He gets the start today.
Well, he'll always give you the 200 innings. He usually leads their ball club and wins, but he's one of these guys that have struggled against the Cardinals.
Little different look to Tony La Russa's lineup here this afternoon. Alan Craig will make his debut in the major leagues. Colby Rasmus off to a great start, 4 for 6 in the first two games. Baseball is next. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Want to go home with me tonight? I'm the designated driver. Budweiser, responsibility matters. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. By Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. And by Chevy's Expert Auto Service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at STLChevy.com. Cloudy day, cooler afternoon than we've seen the last handful of days here in Cincinnati. The club has been here since Saturday night, following the exhibition against Minnesota. And let's take a look at Tony La Russa's lineup for this afternoon. Skip Schumacher off to a slow start, 1 for his first 10. Then Brendan Ryan, the shortstop. Albert Pujols, couple of home runs on opening day. Matt Holliday, 2 RBIs last night. Colby Rasmus, we talked about him, 4 for 6 to start this year. Felipe Lopez making his first start along with Alan Craig, Jason LaRue, and Brad Penny. Listen for the sonic blast of the game when a Cardinals player hits a home run. A regular-size Sonic Blast is only 99 cents the next day at St. Louis area Sonic Drive-Ins. Sonic, America's drive-in. This guy has been a workhorse, as we talked about in the open. Bronson Arroyo, tall, lean. Marshall Wild, the starter. 33 starts a year ago, 3 complete games as he went 15-13.
Last 5 seasons, he's got at least 32 starts per year and over 200 innings. 15-game winner a year ago. One of the uncharacteristic things, he and Harang are both fly ball pitchers, and that is not recommended in this ballpark, as he allowed the second most home runs in the National League. Some of the averages of the Cardinal players when facing Arroyo, they get a little lofty.
And a line drive base hit into center field for Schumacher to start the day. Temperature at 54 degrees this afternoon. And a look at the Reds defense. Gomes, Stubbs, and Bruce in the outfield. Roland, Cabrera, Phillips, and Votto along the infield. And it's Arroyo and Hannigan, the battery today. And it brings in Brendan Ryan. Following the base hit by Schumacher, picked up that first hit of the season last night off a lefty, Daniel Ray Herrera. That was good to see.
Really was good to see, and then he follows it up with a base hit here today. Brendan, after a little bit of a slow start, but he has hit Arroyo very well, better than 400.
Albert Pujols on deck. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do early on. They've already taken the first 2 games. Do you want to be aggressive early on, even with first base occupied and Pujols and Holliday coming up?
Well, it sure is special when you can get that lead for your starter. Cardinals have jumped out to a lead in both games and held on for the victories. Put pressure on them.
1 ball, 1 strike on Brendan Ryan. He is 1 for 8 to start. Cardinals starting pitching the last 2 nights or 2 games has been quite impressive, with Carpenter and then Wainwright last night. It was Johnny Cueto got to start for the Reds yesterday, and Aaron Harang the opening day assignment.
And the Reds are trying to figure out the problems in their bullpen.
Maybe the Cardinals are too.
Hey, I thought you told me we're going to be positive.
Very positive. But there's some question marks possibly, but we'll see how it all shakes out.
Oh, they're positive question marks.
Yes. It's fouled back. That to be a hanging breaking ball. And you watch how Arroyo over the years has gone after hitters. He'll drop the arm angle, variations of the speeds of the breaking ball.
That's it. That, he'll throw that slider from any angle. He'll take a little off each pitch. Doesn't throw particularly hard.
And that pitch is taken out to Brendan Ryan on the outside corner, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's see if they want to start the runner here on 2-2. And he tied him up. The strikeout of Brendan Ryan.
Good pitch there. One of the things that mentioned, a lot of guys have good averages against Arroyo, but one of the guys that does not is Matt Holliday behind Albert Pujols, and that might have been a factor in not sending the runner.
And here's Pujols. So 1 out and a runner at first. First pitch to Albert Pujols, floats in there for a strike at 67 miles an hour. Bronson Arroyo, in each of his last 12 starts, through 7 innings without allowing more than 3 earned runs. And the last to do that was Curt Schilling, 12 straight, 2002. In the last 20 years, the only pitchers to produce such a streak of 12 straight starts like that, a couple of Hall of Famers, Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson.
And now he's 2 strikeouts away from 1,000 in his career.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Instead, a check on the runner at first.
I would think you'd want to pay attention to Pujols.
Maybe you're just trying to avoid it. But at some point, you got to deliver to the plate.
Even if they pick him off, they still have to face him.
Outfield deep for Pujols. That pitch is taken inside. It's a 14 miles an hour difference there on the breaking ball, and then that pitch on the inside corner. 67-81.
That's the key to a guy like Arroyo. Everything is thrown at a different speed, and many times at a different arm angle.
Pulled foul. So this trio has done quite well against Bronson Arroyo. 327 average for Albert. Felipe Lopez is in the lineup today. He's 448, and Colby Rasmus is in the 5th spot at 444. Here's a 1-2. Pulled sharply to third, and Rolen couldn't handle it. It ate him up. And he commits his first error ever as a Red. He did not commit an error a season ago when he came over after the trade from Toronto. He made a great play last night.
It was like in 40 games, wasn't it?
That's right. Even 40 a year ago.
So here it comes in there. He's in perfect position. A little bit side angle, and so it got by him. But, Scott and the Reds were thinking a double play in the inning, and now Holliday got a chance to break it open.
Holliday hit one off the base of the wall in center last night to score 2. And one of those runs that came around to score was Pujols all the way from first. He ran right through the stop sign of Jose Oquendo. Didn't matter. And he would score, and the Cardinals went on to an easy win.
Holliday just 2 for 12 against Arroyo.
3 for 9 to start the year. He pulls it foul.
See Bronson effectively getting in on these right-handed batters. They can hit it, they just pull it foul.
We'll take a look at Fox tracks throughout the afternoon today. Get an idea of some of these pitches and where they're at. And the first two have been inside to Holiday. Nothing into the count. 2 on, 1 out. Off the end of the bat and foul. And right through Dave McKay, the Cardinals' first base coach. Votto will retreat that foul ball.
Kind of chalk your bat up, don't you? When you're facing a guy like Bronson Arroyo.
Southwest Airlines bringing us our Fox tracks. Same pitch, stayed away. Is yet to throw a strike to Holiday, according to Fox tracks. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fouled away. The Cardinals will head to Milwaukee. A series against Jim Edmonds and the Brewers this weekend, then opening day on Monday in St. Louis.
Brewers got an off day today, but Jim Edmonds off to a good start. Batting .333 as he started 2 of the first 3 games for the Brewers.
Inside to Holiday. This is turning out to be a very good at bat here in the first. 18 first inning pitches by Arroyo. A cool afternoon and overcast skies here in Cincinnati. And let's hope the rain stays away.
I think we're clear now.
Are you looking at the same sky I am?
Well, about an hour ago we thought we were going to have a nice sunny day, but
the power of positive thinking, Al, is what you're saying.
Okay, the power of positive thinking thinks that this has been a good at bat to this point. Now finish it off.
Runners go. And the pitch is popped up. So Pujols and Schumacher have to retreat. This may drop, and it does. Look at a force play at second. Pujols was in no man's land.
They're trying to say a double play, but why?
So it has to be an infield fly rule.
And runners advance at their own risk. But boy, was it called?
I didn't see the indication.
I didn't either.
Mike Riley, and he does call for the infield fly here, so runners do advance at their own risk, and we have a double play.
Well, we'll see that on the second shot. He might have called it a little bit too soon because obviously it looked like Phillips was in position. So Mike Riley sees the ball go up. He sees the second baseman check to see the runners, so his hand will go up, signifying that it's an infield fly rule. The batter's out. The runners may advance at their own risk. But he called that maybe a little too soon as the wind took that and it eluded Phillips, but everything was worked out well for the Reds.
So now we see the season debut of Brad Penny, the hard-throwing right-hander for the Cardinals, and the first pitch is a strike at 92 miles an hour.
That's one of the things I think we're all excited about, to see the velocity. See if he's back in the days when he used to throw 95, 96, 97 on a consistent basis.
He was hitting that in spring training, just not consistently. He talked about in his last start, he tried to dial it up a little bit a few times and let loose, and he was hitting 94, 95. 1 ball, 1 strike on Drew Stubbs.
Now, he traditionally is more of a power pitcher, a four-seam pitcher. Now, they've toiled a little bit with the sinker, worked on it in spring training.
The 1-1 pitch. And maybe you can explain to the folks at home the difference between that four-seamer and two-seamer, which is what he's doing.
Well, the two-seamer is what we call the sinking fastball. And that is the one that produces ground balls that Dave Duncan always preaches.
The 2-1 pitch to Drew Stubbs. Popped out. Pujols charging in and makes the catch. Stubbs retired, and let's take a look at Dusty Baker's lineup for day baseball this afternoon. Stubbs, who we just saw, then Cabrera, homered last night. Joey Votto, 3 for 9 to start the year. Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland, Jay Bruce, Jonny Gomes, Ryan Hannigan, and Bronson Arroyo. That's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Here's Cabrera, 2 for 9. His home run was a 2-run shot against Adam Wainwright. We were talking to Dave Duncan following the game yesterday, and one of the things that he talked about is that Cabrera is one of those unique guys that if you get way in on him, he's still able to get his hands through the zone, and he likes it there. He's able to pull the baseball, keep it fair, and drive it.
Hit the home run yesterday off of Wainwright, and so that's the only pitch he can hit. I think he's a little better hitter than that.
Line drive and a base hit.
He found another zone he could cover.
Let's take a look at the defense. Holiday, Rasmus, and Alan Craig making his major league debut. Lopez, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols. And it's Penny and Jason LaRue. LaRue, of course, the former Red. And here is Votto. Reds have a young player in their minor league system they consider to be one of their best hitting prospects, and he's also considered one of the better prospects in all of baseball, but they've got to find a position for him. And we talked to Walt Jocketty, the Cardinals former GM and now with Cincinnati. He said, well, Votto's not going anywhere, and that young man that we're talking about is a first baseman, so he's going to Double-A to try to learn to play left field. Walt had some nice words about Tony Fawcett and his family embracing Aroldis Chapman. And Tony Fawcett, the former Cardinal, has taken in Chapman to help him with the culture and the language. Two balls and one strike.
Brad Penny has a 7-game winning streak against these Cincinnati Reds.
Votto hit .322 last year, 5th best in the National League. Led the Reds in that category. A 2-1 pitch from Penny. This is low and away. Phillips on deck. Big question mark for the Reds this year. Can they generate enough offense? They like their pitching. Will their offense come around? It struggled a year ago.
You would think it would be much better this year. Just another year of maturity for some of the young hitters.
A 3-1 pitch. A good pitch in on the hands of Votto. Now Cabrera has 197 steals in his career. He's a guy that used to be able to steal a base or two, but he's 35 years of age now, not known for his speed over there. Former Gold Glover, former All-Star. You're thinking about running him with Molina out and LaRue behind the plate. The backup now for the Cardinals. There he goes. Pitch is taken for a ball. So 2 on for the cleanup man, Brandon Phillips.
Brad Penny back in 06 won 16 games. Follow that up with 07 where he finished 3rd in the Cy Young Award balloting behind San Diego's Jack Peavy and Arizona's Brendan Webb. He matched his career high with 16 wins again with a career low 4 losses.
Phillips still a young player, only 28, from Raleigh, North Carolina. Came over in a trade from the Indians in 2006. The first pitch is hit in the air to shallow right. Alan Craig under it to make the catch. Alan Craig, speaking of guys that have to learn a new position, he's one of those because he can play first base or left field, but with the Cardinals for the next decade or so, you better find a different spot.
You know, it was always rumored that he is a suspect defensively. But I've watched him in batting practice. I watched him the few times I was down in Florida, and he's caught everything that I've seen him. Anything that he should have caught, he's made the play.
Well, let's see if the mindset of the Reds today would be just to sit and wait on the fastball of Brad Penny.
Well, it's not a bad idea because he throws so many fastballs, and especially early in the count.
So 2 outs, 2 on. Here's Scott Rowland. And he takes a breaking ball.
Now, as long as you can throw that breaking ball, you'll kind of mess up that theory. But you can see, and this is not unusual. Early in a game, a lot of guys will throw a lot more fastballs to establish that. And as the game goes along, they'll incorporate more breaking pitches.
Brad Penny starts with that splitter grip. Hit sharply to short and a flip to second. Reds will strand 2. And Colby Rasmus leads it off when we come back. No score. And off to a very good start, both at the glove and at the plate. 4 for 6. 2 extra base hits, including a home run. Also drawing walks. Seeing the baseball quite well.
Yeah, I think that's a real key. He led Cardinal hitters in spring training in walks. Off to a good start.
He's only 23 from Columbus, Georgia. 28th overall pick back in 2005. And good majority of these players homegrown talent for the Cardinals. Off of Bronson Arroyo. Barehanded by Rowland to first. Got him. And the medical staff and Dusty Baker coming out to check on Arroyo.
Manager's nightmare early in the season to start getting your horses knocked out on the line drive, and a great recovery. And that's the difference with Scott Rowland, is that throwing arm. His ability. Look at, he can throw a laser beam even when he's off balance. If I got it around the calf region.
It's a cool afternoon. You wonder if that tightens up fairly quickly, and a hard hit ball by Colby Rasmus.
Well, look at it this way. You put ice on it. You don't have to. Just stick it out in the air. Set up away. And right there, just line back up the middle. He'll test it and see how it is. If you don't like line drives back out the middle, you pitch inside.
It's on his planting leg, his left leg. May have caught it off the inside of the knee there.
Well, you always worry about a leg or foot injury, that you'll alter your mechanics a little bit and put a stress and strain on your shoulder. But he says he's fine.
And the former Red Felipe Lopez, the switch hitter, will dig in for the first time. Felipe came up with Toronto back in 2001. And his first year in Cincinnati was 2003. And he was with the Cardinals in 08. Played 43 games and hit .385.
Last year between Arizona and Milwaukee, he hit .310. Very versatile.
Well, he was the 8th player overall taken by Toronto back in 1998. Slaps it towards short. Cabrera. Low throw, dug out by Votto. 2 away. Good defense here behind Arroyo.
We talked about it last night. They have 3 Gold Glove winners in their infield, winning a combined 10 Gold Gloves, 7 by Rowland, 2 by Cabrera, and 1 by Phillips. So that should help this pitching staff.
Alan Craig hit .322 at Memphis. 26 home runs, 83 RBIs, and was the Cardinals minor league player of the year for 2009. Tony La Russa was saying if he's going to make the team, he'll hit his way on, and he did that in spring training.
Very likable young man from Southern California, went to the Cal Berkeley, and quite the scholar there.
And lines out to Roller. What an inning defensively for the infield of the Cincinnati Reds. And in particular, big number 27. But we're used to seeing that from the 7-time Gold Glover. .com, and they've got all the latest apparel, memorabilia, something for the entire family at Cardinals.com. Bottom of the second rolls in, and here's Jay Bruce, who's won for his first 8. Jonny Gomes on deck, and then Ryan Hannigan. And it's big Brad Penny. Brad grew up a Cardinals fan.
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Went to high school there, and they retired both his and Jim Brewer, former Dodger pitcher, Jersey.
Initially was selected by Arizona, 5th round in 1996. Then acquired by the Marlins along with Vladimir Nunez and Abraham Nunez. In exchange for another hard thrower, Matt Manti, a former closer. Brad Penny won a World Series title with Florida back in 2003. That year he went 14-10 for the Marlins. And acquired by the Dodgers, along with Hisop Choi, for Guillermo Mota, Paul LaDuca, and Juan Encarnacion. Here's a 1-2. Got him. First strikeout for Brad Penny of the young season.
You mentioned he has a split finger pitch, and that's his put away pitch. There it is right there. Good downward action, sliding down and away beyond the reach of Jay Bruce. So the 4-seam fastball up in the zone, and then he has that splitter and run down and away and change the eye angle.
Hard hit and a base hit for Jonny Gomes, who struck out 3 times in the ballgame last night. You can make FoxSportsMidwest.com your home for Cardinals video and updates all season long. It's FoxSportsMidwest.com for your Cardinals news. Brings in Hannigan, the catcher. Happy birthday to big Cardinal fan Adam Wolf, who's watching today on Fox Sports Midwest.
Hannigan, pretty good defensive catcher.
This is where that 2-seamer could really come into play if he throws it. That last pitch at 95, but you get that ground ball, you're talking about double plays instead of being the total power pitcher, which he's been in the past.
He's been very effective. It's just, you know, you're comfortable pitching the way he has, but he's been very open to trying the suggestions of Dave Duncan. Worked on it a lot in spring training. There was a little slider.
Of course, this is a very important slot in the rotation for the Cardinals when you consider the loss of Pinheiro and all the innings that he chewed up a year ago.
Well, I think Brad's going to be fine. But it sure would be great to start out on the winning note.
0-2 pitch. The Cardinals wasted no time once the free agency period began. They had targeted Brad Penny, and Dave Duncan had said he long coveted to bring Penny to St. Louis, work with him. Cardinals signed him and gave him the 1-year deal.
And Brad, listening to his interview, reaffirmed that he wanted to come to St. Louis. Told his agent several different times this is where his #1 spot would be, and working with Dave Duncan is part of that.
The foul tip. Cardinals have shuffled their rotation as Jaime Garcia is going to move up a day and not pitch on Sunday Night Baseball.
I'm sure he's happy. You want to get it started. So Carpenter will get Sunday night. Jaime will be on the Fox game, on Big Fox on Saturday.
We'll have opening day for you on Fox Sports Midwest Monday. Houston will be in town. Houston has already dropped 3 straight to start the year against San Francisco. Double play ball. Ryan Schumacher, double play. 6-4-3 on the double play. Jason LaRue leads it off when we come back. The Cardinals' 2010 rival, Brewers, Cubs, Reds. And text your answer to 432-432. Isn't that a given? It's Cubs and then everybody else, right? Pittsburgh off to a good start.
Yeah, Chicago is 0-2. Pittsburgh is 2-0. Houston 0-3. Milwaukee 2-1.
Garrett Jones for the Pirates already with 3 home runs. And here's a long ball that'll stay in the ballpark as Gomes will back up and on the track makes the catch. So LaRue retired and it brings in Brad Penny. I want to remind folks that half price nights are back, and our first half price night is next Wednesday with Houston in town. Means a family of 4 can attend for as low as $33. That's next Wednesday with Houston in town. And then it's a family weekend all weekend long. Mets make their visit to St. Louis.
Good promotional nights in that kids weekend opener.
Fireworks night. They've got a holiday jersey giveaway, a pennant day, and also for kids 16 and under, you're talking about a free ticket to a game later in the season. So nice way to take in a game. And also on that Friday night, which is the fireworks night, that's a weekend half price night. Family of 4 can attend for as low as $38. So good promotions all season long.
Penny can help in his own cause. He's 156 career hitter with a couple of home runs. Notice he's gotten into thoroughbred racing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to explain it?
He owns several thoroughbreds.
So is he
race horses?
So over in Kentucky, where's he have them?
Well, I know he had one that won it out at Hollywood Park.
A swing and a miss, and Petty is strikeout number 2 for Arroyo. Here's Schumacher, line to single his first time up.
And Arroyo now 1 strikeout away from 1,000.
And a fastball in there for a strike. Schumacher, the 30-year-old from Torrance, California, hit .303 last year. Back-to-back 300 seasons for the Cardinal leadoff man. Popped up left side, rolling over along with Cabrera. And the shortstop dropped it. And that's the second error committed by the Reds here in Game 3 of this series.
Well, it's a much better angle for the shortstops. You see, calls off rolling and then flat out drops it. Two-time Gold Glove winner.
Boy, how many times have you seen it and then you say it? You give a major leaguer a second opportunity and they'll make you pay. We'll see if Skip can do that here. Foul back. You can see the last couple of pitches, Hannigan has called for them up. He's trying to climb a ladder here on Skip.
He's done that to a few different hitters. Arroyo, mentioned earlier, already a fly ball pitcher, allowed 31 home runs last year.
And Schumacher rips it foul. These ball boys in this first series have been right on. Over down the left field line opening day, and that bullet's caught.
Well, you know what the fans are saying. Sign the ball boy. As he spears a line drive and Cabrera misses the pop-up.
Skip, a ground ball hit to short. Cabrera up with it, makes the play. So the Cardinals go in order midway through 3, and there's no score. Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Jack in the Box, try Jack's new grilled sandwiches, the turkey bacon cheddar or the deli trio at participating restaurants. Banks of the Ohio in the Great American Ballpark, and there's no score. There's a look at Alan Craig making his Major League debut as Bronson Arroyo will dig in to start the bottom of the 3rd against Brad Penny. Let's bring in our buddy Jim Hayes. And Jim, obviously little butterflies today for Alan Craig.
Yeah, but he's a pretty laid-back guy. He told me that after yesterday's ball game, Tony La Russa said there was a chance he might start today, and he didn't know he was actually going to get the starting nod until he got to the ballpark and looked at the lineup card. And I said, well, last night, knowing you might start, you might be getting your first taste of big league action, was it a restless night? And he said, no, he slept well, and he's just a competent guy who's kind of laid back, who's not getting caught up in it.
Yeah, another thing, too, is that Ludwig wasn't necessarily very comfortable in how he was at the plate in the final 2 plate appearances for himself last night. He did make the great plays in right as Craig makes that catch. So it made sense. You give Ludwig the day off and get him ready for this weekend.
And Craig is a guy who just flat out went out and took a roster spot during spring training. He played very well defensively. He was solid enough, and I think he's a guy that believes in himself, and then made the Cardinals likewise believe in Alan Craig.
You know, Jim, you bring up a great point. This is Drew Stubbs, our leadoff man. One of the things that has been brought up time and again, and we were talking about it earlier, Al, is the fact that Craig is a natural first baseman, left fielder. He can play 3rd, but he's got to find a spot. And Jim, he said a lot of that has kind of been blown out of proportion. He said he feels fine in right field. Yeah, he said he's an outfielder, and he's more than capable of making all the plays, and he'll get better as he goes along. But again, not a guy that seems to stress out about things. He's just a competent guy who is glad to get an opportunity, and he feels like now that he has the chance, he'll make the most of it. All right, Jim, thanks. As Stubbs popped out to first, what a thrill it must be, though, for Alan Craig here today.
Yeah, one of the things you'll notice is an orthodox thrower. And that was one of the critical things about, they said that, like, well, he doesn't really have a position, but he'll catch the ball and he'll get the ball back into the cutoff man.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Once the Lugo trade was made, that kind of cleared the roster spot for Stavinoa and Craig to make the ball club. And what, you got 13 homegrown players?
Stavinoa has been very good as a pinch hitter, as we've seen. There's a grounder. Nice play to his left. Brendan Ryan. His soft hands at shortstop.
Sure made that look easy, and it was not. Many times you always want your shortstop or your middle infielders to square up to the ball. That ball was hit so hard he couldn't do it. And with those very soft hands, he got that little tricky hop at the end, rights himself and throws. He can sling the ball. It's not the way you would design to throw, but for him, he tells you he's more comfortable, slinging the balls, more sidearm throw than he is over the top.
Here's Cabrera. Late swing for strike 1. A lot of times that Gold Glove is just done on reputation and longevity in the game, and sometimes even on your offensive numbers, more so than what you do with the glove.
More so.
Doesn't make any sense, but that's the way it's been.
But I think rarely do you see a guy the first year you really have an extensive playing time like Brendan Ryan did last year win a Gold Glove. But I think he made the impression with an awful lot of managers and coaches to be looking for that looking for him to be a contender for that from years to come.
He didn't play in his first game of the spring until the 20th of March, out with the wrist surgery. Week from Saturday, speaking of Gold Gloves, Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright will get theirs, and that's their pennant day as well, featuring those two. Wainwright very, very good once again last night. Only mistake was to Cabrera in the 2-run homer. One and two the count as Penny steps off the mound.
I've seen that rosin bag used to kind of dry your hand, but I've never seen it to dry your head. And he used the rosin bag and then rubbed it on his head.
And it's swing and a miss as Cabrera strikes out. That's two for Brad Penny. Albert Pujols is due up first when we come back. Here's Brendan Ryan, then Albert Pujols, and Matt Holliday for the Cardinals against Bronson Arroyo in the fourth. Numbers don't lie, and when this guy plays, the Cardinals win. Brendan Ryan a season ago, Redbirds went 58-37 when he started.
And they were one game under 500 when he did not.
He says he loves this spot in the lineup, the number 2 spot. And you're hitting in front of Albert Pujols. He said the wrist surgery that he had had shaved excess hardened tissue. It's given him more flexibility. He showed me the other day the lack of flexibility that he had with his wrist, and it gave you a pretty good indication as to why he couldn't swing the bat during BP. It was an incredible pain.
I know one time they described it as dead tissue.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. He said he, in his estimation, he took a total of maybe 35 rounds of batting practice before a game last year. He would go in, take one cut, it would hurt, and then he'd leave. Two and two. And one thing that Mark McGwire has worked with Brendan Ryan in the offseason during spring training was finding one stance and staying with it, and also working on his balance.
Yeah, try to keep the weight back and have a good center of gravity, as he's many times he's almost moving and running before he swings.
Hits it sharply to third. Rowland stays with it. Strong throw and makes the play. 6 a serious number. Cardinals score 6 like last night. You get a 20-ounce coffee found in a frozen drink for just a quarter the next day at On the Run at Mobile. Win or lose, Cardinals score 6. You score 25-cent drinks at On the Run.
Sure, and Mark McGwire will tell him that was a real good swing right there. I mean, he was really balanced.
Watching history in all kinds of categories when you talk about Albert Pujols, 30 doubles, 30 home runs, and a 300 average. Some of the greatest names that ever played. At some point, many believe 1 year he may get that Triple Crown.
We'll see. He was the Triple Crown winner for the decade, the last decade.
It took him 9 years.
Yeah, he played 9 years.
Instead of the full 10 for the others.
You know, 3-time MVP. Unanimous choice last year. Won it the last 2 seasons, and he has always been in the top 10 all 9 years in that balloting.
Breaking ball. 3 balls, no strikes with 1 out. Matt Holliday is on deck. Pujols normally will do that, take a strike. We've seen Holliday, though, in the first 2 games from 3-0 swing away.
I think part of it has to do with the pitcher. You know, how comfortable you are with the pitcher. Now, Arroyo is probably not a good idea, because more than likely you're going to get something very slow, which he threw a real slow breaking ball. Holliday has had his troubles against Arroyo, but I think a lot of that's just be in another division, just not familiar with him.
3-2, and Pujols strikes out for the third time in this series.
Now, there is an accomplishment when the 1,000th strikeout is Albert Pujols.
His third of the afternoon. Let's take a look at Fox Tracks. Good sinking action and a strike.
Just took a little off, and he is a master at changing speeds.
I think he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, he's a guy that switches it up all the time. He's in and out, up and down, changing speeds.
You know, his last outing in Arizona was against Cleveland. He gave up 10 runs.
Got a breaking ball that's fouled back by Holiday.
As Brooke Jacoby, the Reds hitting coach, I said, you know, what was the deal? And he just said, well, he's just going to have one of those every now and then. You don't worry about him. It doesn't faze him.
0-1 pitch. Holiday fights it off. Little blue base hit into right field. Brings in Colby Rasmus. Cardinal fans, we want to give you a programming note about tomorrow's game. Fox Sports Midwest will televise both the Cardinals game at Milwaukee and the Blues game tomorrow. Keith Tkachuk has announced his retirement. And on many video providers, you'll be able to watch both games. So all you have to do is head to foxsportsmidwest.com for channel listings in your area.
Keith will be missed, won't he?
Yes, he will. Great player. And like we were talking about last night, in my opinion, Hall of Fame player. What he did in the NHL and international competition with the United States. Here's Colby Rasmus, who lined one back at Arroyo and hit him, and then Roland barehanded it on the run and made the play.
As a pitcher, you know, when somebody does that to you, you know it's because it's an outside pitch. And Bronson starting with a breaking ball outside.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Colby Rasmus. Talking with him the other day, and he said conditioning was something that he looked at very closely this past off season, much more than just weightlifting, but he said his core and just trying to stay strong in the bottom half of his body. Now this is a good example of what he said was the hardest difference for him from the minor leagues to the major leagues. He said major league pitchers, they just make adjustments all the time, and you have to adjust on the fly, where in the minor leagues you just don't get that. A lot of times it's the same game plan by that pitcher over and over.
They're still learning just like you are.
But this is a guy, Arroyo, that does that on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, he'll invent a pitch, you know, as he's standing out there. Look at that, only 18% of his pitches are fastballs. So his fastball is almost like his changeup.
Colby at 278 before the break and then 216 afterwards, and he looks at ball 4 and draws his 4th walk already of this young season. First walk issued by Arroyo, and it brings in Lopez and grounded out to short his first time up. Felipe Lopez, the switch hitter.
He's 13 for 30 with 2 home runs against Arroyo.
Be interesting to see how Tony uses him through the course of a full season. Guy that has averaged over 500 at bats the last 2 years. More of a role player, but he signed with St. Louis knowing how Tony uses his bench players. With a ground ball hit to short. Across the diamond, Cabrera. Cardinals are strand 2. They've left 3 on. Midway through 4, and there's no score. All fans ages 15 and under receive a collectible Cardinals pennant featuring Gold Glove Award winners Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, courtesy of Coca-Cola and the Pasta House. And for tickets, folks standing by as we speak, 314-345-9000 for your pennant, and a chance for kids to get a free ticket to a game later in the season. Night before is the fireworks, and then on Sunday is the Matt Holliday jersey. That's ripped and over Brendan Ryan. He just missed it. And Votto aboard for the second time.
Brendan had pretty good hang time and almost got to the apex and hauled that one in. You can see him wanting to look at the video board to see how close he came to it.
Inches. There's Brandon Phillips, who flied out to right first time up. Mentioned before, it was a trade in 2006 that brought Phillips to Cincinnati. Came from Cleveland for Jeff Stevens.
Legendary. Well, he'd been a highly touted prospect in the Cleveland organization. Finally, they got tired of him, sent him over here, and he's been a model citizen.
And a year after the trade, he would go 30-30. And at that time, only the second baseman to ever do that. The first was Alfonso Soriano. And since then, Ian Kinsler has done it.
Yeah, he's been a 20-20 man the last 3 years.
Matter of fact, there's been only 6 middle infielders that have ever been 30-30. Pretty exclusive company there.
How about that? First pitch strikes, 12 of 13.
The most important pitch in baseball, first pitch strikes.
First inning, he has allowed the leadoff man to reach.
You think about, you get that first pitch, and if you're Penny, you've got now 4-seamer, 2-seamer, a breaking ball, and a splitter. And that's in the back of that hitter's mind. The different weapons that he brings to the table.
So a splitter.
And the Cardinals have turned a double play. It was 6-4-3 off the bat of Hannigan. That was in the second inning.
Ball away, see if you roll over on it.
Good pitch. Just missed, and Phillips did not go. 2-2 is the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth of a scoreless game here in Cincinnati. Dan McLaughlin and Al Raboski and our Fox Sports Midwest crew. Rolling on deck. Here's a 2-2. We see that he's starting to get these ground balls, which then would make you wonder if Dusty Baker would want to put that runner at first in motion. See if he can avoid a double play. Or maybe just jumpstart your offense a little bit too.
Well, we noted the first game that they ran quite a bit in spring training. They were successful 72% of the time.
Votto is heading back to first. Here's a ground ball. Slowly hit. Lopez to second. Out there. Want to hop to Pujols for the double play. So they don't start Votto. And the double play is turned. 5-4-3.
Runner get down on Skip Schumacher, but does a good job to elude it. Strong throwing arm.
Good, clean, hard baseball out there at second. No problem with that.
No, not at all.
In steps Scott Rowland. Now we saw the end of Scotty's time in St. Louis. A lot of pitchers were going up and in on Rowland. Remember that? He was having trouble with the shoulder. It was a struggle, and we've seen them consistently go outside here to Rowland. LaRue sets up outside here.
That's one of his strengths, you know, talking about Penny. And slow ground ball to third. Penny's through 4 innings.
Who who is second behind Pete Rose on the National League all-time hits list. Stan the Man, 3,630.
Yeah, 18-15 on the road and 18-15 at home.
Here's Alan Craig, and he'll bounce out to the shortstop, Orlando Cabrera. One away. Pitchers duel here this afternoon with Arroyo and Brad Penny. You're mentioning one of the strengths of Brad Penny before he went to break.
Yeah, I mean, he has that ability to spot that ball, on the outer part of the plate. If you watch most of the time, they want that ball down and away. So he'll, even if he's throwing a four-seamer, he'll still get his share of ground balls. Sometimes he'll get away from it and he'll come run back up and in.
Here's LaRue, who flied out to deep left first time up.
And, Dan, I totally agree with you that they were pitching Scott Rowland that way, but now that he's healthy and because of this ballpark, I don't think you're too anxious to go inside unless you really get in there.
If you give up 2-3 runs in this ballpark, you've done your job if you're a starter.
Well, that's what Dave Duncan said to us last night. You feel very fortunate if you can make a start here and only allow 2 runs as a starter.
And he took some off that pitch. It's 79, 1-2. LaRue came up with Cincinnati back in 1999. Spent the majority of his career here. And then one season with Kansas City. And now in his 3rd year with the Cardinals. 36-year-old from Houston, Texas.
He's the oldest position player on the Cardinals team. And then Ryan Franklin, he's a senior member totally at 37.
We talk about those valuable backups, and he has been that. With the game-winning RBI and the division-clinching win at Colorado after Molina had to exit. Strikeout number 4 for Arroyo, and it's been defense one of the stories today. How about this play from Rowland off of Arroyo on the run and shows off that great arm. That was a line out. Brendan Ryan and Skip Schumacher part of a double play. The Bat Boy's been into it. And Brendan Ryan to his left. The Cardinals would add another double play as well. And here's Penny. Penny struck out back in the 3rd. Nothing into the count.
Bronson Arroyo's been very impressive the way he's kept the Cardinals at bay.
Talk to the hitters, Al, and they say he's deceptive for a number of reasons with the arm angles, but also with the high leg kick.
Yeah.
Able to hide the baseball. You always talk about arms and legs coming at you, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes the baseball.
It's deceptive. It's just. And watch the leg kick, as you mentioned, go straight out like that. Sometimes that can be distracting, but it's just his ability to change speeds and arm angles with all of his pitches.
Drop down that time. Strikeout number 5 for Arroyo. Frank Robinson becomes the first African-American manager after a Hall of Fame playing career. Did that with Cleveland. Brought to you by Schnucks. 21 years as a player. 586 home runs. 2,943 hits. MVP in both leagues. Retired number 20 here in Cincinnati. And yes, it is chilly. The Queen City today.
Yeah, they thought here in Cincinnati that Frank Robinson was through, so they traded him to Baltimore, and then they won another MVP.
And Frank Robinson is from Beaumont, Texas. And so is this young man, Jay Bruce. 12th overall pick in 2005, only 23. And to start his year, he's just 1 for 9. They need him to be a very productive member of their lineup. This is one guy they're counting on.
fractured his wrist last season, but early in the season they were really disappointed because he tried to hit for power and his average really suffered.
What have we seen from Brad Penny today?
I think I'm very pleased, and I think here you see a guy that is going out there and attacking hitters. He's only one. That's one of the real pleasant surprises is how economical he's been.
A lot of first pitch strikes. Hit hard off the glove of Pujols to Schumacher. Penny covering, and they got him.
Anytime that ball hit to the right side as a pitcher, you break over there, and hopefully Albert's all right. As he tried to backhand that, ball was smoked, and backhanding it deflects it over to Schumacher, and because Brad Penny was paying attention, that strong arm, he's got the first man out. You just hope that all hit leather and not wrist. Brad Penny didn't hesitate at all, did he? No. Got rewarded as Schumacher was very alert.
There's Jonny Gomes. Popped up. Shallow left field. Ryan backing up, and he's called off by Matt Holliday. Quickly 2 outs. 8th place hitter Hannigan steps in. Cardinals campout presented by Bass Pro Shops, and Tracker Boats is back. That'll be on May 7th. Cardinals take on the Pirates, and you can spend a night on the field and under the stars at Busch Stadium. Number to call is 345-9500 or cardinals.com/campout. Again, this year, just drop the STL when you head to the website. It's just cardinals.com.
Hump inning. As a starter, you have to qualify. You have to get through the 5th inning, qualify for a win. And when you can have a real quick and efficient inning, boy, that'll propel you maybe for 2 more.
Hannigan bounced into a double play, first time up.
Just at 51 pitches by here on the scoreboard. Now starting to mix in a few more breaking balls.
Cardinals will have the top of the lineup coming up.
Splitter.
Good pitch. That splitter has been very effective, hasn't it, today?
Yeah, I mean, he has the ability, but here's the splitter, and you see where LaRue set up, but look at how that he stays down there, and then it dives out of the strike zone. It's moving, it's sliding. But he has that ability that, he'll try and hit that down and away, but then he'll leave a lot. It'll be another splitter.
And he just got a piece.
But he'll get enough of his fastballs that'll run up and in to change that eye angle.
Now, for folks that are at home and they're trying to figure out, all right, what's a split finger fastball? Try to explain that, please.
Well, your first finger and your middle finger, you spread them apart. Now, you can, depends on how far you spread it apart. The further you place the ball back into that V, the more it'll take velocity away. That you can put it out on your fingertips and you can still diminish velocity, but still throw it around 90 miles an hour. Right there.
Bruce Sutter.
Well, Bruce Sutter was taught, first of all, it helps to have long fingers. And Bruce Sutter hurt his arm. He was a conventional pitcher, and he hurt his arm. But Bruce Sutter's split finger fastball was in the low 80s. But and you talk to hitters, and I said, why do you swing it? It falls out of the strike zone. I said, but it looks so good. And the minute you start your swing, his would just, the bottom would fall out of it. Now, guys like Brad Penny have more of the Jack Morse, where it's a high velocity. Instead of being 82, 83, they're throwing it, anywhere from 89 to 91. And that's a big difference. And then you can throw your fastball anywhere from 95, and hopefully he'll get it back up to 96. Another split.
And a ground ball that is fair, just past Lopez, inside the third base line. And that'll be a double for Ryan Hanigan. Didn't seem to be a bad pitch, just a very nice job of hitting.
No, you know, his first extra base hit of this game. Maybe he got up just a little bit.
Yep.
And, you know, when you do that, you know, you don't have quite the same sinking action. You're almost more pushing that instead of getting on top of it and allowing it to move down. You're going to give up a base hit, do it with 2 outs.
Here's Arroyo with 2 outs, runner at second base. Pitch had stayed a little bit low. He came over from the Red Sox in exchange for Willie Mo Pena.
He's hit a few home runs in his career. Bronson Arroyo.
He has got 4 home runs in his career and 16 RBIs.
We talked about opening day, the game a couple years ago, the matchup of Carpenter and Aaron Harang, where Harang drove in the only run of the game with a bloop single over second base and won 1-0 over Carpenter. But you know, a lot more game to this one. Let's just get the pitcher out.
Arroyo is a free spirit. He was named after Charles Bronson. Resides in Florida.
Still got his band.
Still has his band. One-two pitch. There's that split finger again.
Aspiring singer like yourself, maybe you can help him out.
I'll pass.
Thank you. The audience is saying thank you also. I tell you, Dan, you can't sing.
If we were in August or September, I'd break out a song. It's too early, Al. We haven't gotten to that point yet. 2-2.
Pretty good rip right there.
Sure was.
95-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's been an all-star. Did that his first year here in Cincinnati. He was part of the Red Sox 2004 championship team against the Cardinals.
And Brad Pinney's been an all-star a couple times, including starting an all-star game.
That game he was throwing smoke. Just got a piece. Where is Willie Mo Pena? I have no idea.
Probably the Nationals the last time we thought they may be out of the game, because we haven't heard of them for a while.
Well, Jim Bowden was the GM formerly of the Reds, and then with Washington it seemed like every former Red was there. Lifts it into center field. How about this? Bronson Arroyo makes it 1-0.
Talking about a replay of the Carpenter Harang game. We just saw the one base hit, the RBI base hit by Harang. This time it's by Arroyo. Got the curveball, and after a very good at bat, he wins the battle.
It was after a very good at bat too by Hanigan.
Yeah, will he win the war?
There's still a long ways to go. 2-out base hit RBI for Arroyo. They're at the bottom of the 5th, and it brings in Drew Stubbs. They really like this guy. And talking with Walt Jocketty, they feel that this could be a cornerstone player for them in the future. High draft choice of a couple of seasons ago. He's got great speed. And today he is 0 for 2.
It's funny, you know, he had more power at the major league level than he did last year at AAA.
Remember Giovanni Soto a couple years ago? Yes. Same thing with him. The Cubs catcher.
Yeah, really showed no power in the minor leagues, and then got to the big leagues and flat out won the Rookie of the Year award with his hitting. Nice block by LaRue.
Stubbs was the 8th overall pick in 2006.
It looked like it was going to be a very quick, efficient inning. Is kind of dragged on for Penn. They got the first 2 guys out in what, 2 pitches.
Stubbs, a Texas product. Played for Augie Garrido and the Longhorns. Winningest coach in college baseball history, Augie Garrido. They finished 2nd last year to LSU in the College World Series.
It's the first lead of the season for the Reds.
And a 3-1 pitch to Stubbs. Here it comes. Popped up, right side. Pujols over. Near the crowd. And out of play. Stubbs a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award, which is given to the best player in college baseball. It was one of those Atlanta products, but this one from Atlanta, Texas.
Kind of wonder why they're Albert's holding him on with a pitcher and a full count.
Inside pitch, and he walked him. That's the 2nd walk issued by Brad Penny. Here comes Dave Duncan. Thought he might pop out after this.
Well, one probably slow him down, and then he'll give him some kind of a little tidbit, try and get him through this inning and regroup.
I was talking with Dave and Chris Duncan, former Cardinal, will begin AAA play today with Washington, and Shelley Duncan, who was with the Yankees for quite some time, is now with Cleveland. We're in the home stretch for the 2010 census. Not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form today. We're at the Great American Ballpark in a chilly afternoon, where the rain has stayed away here in Cincinnati. 1-0 Reds as we play in the bottom of the 5th. Cabrera 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single. Chops it to short. Brendan Ryan across the diamond. He'll go. Reds will strand 2. They've stranded 4 on the day, but Arroyo helps his own cause. It's 1-0. Top of the lineup coming up. He starts tomorrow. This is our What's on Tap, brought to you by Budweiser. And we'll be at Miller Park to take on the Brewers. 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. And Kyle Loesch will get that start for St. Louis. Bronson Arroyo, as we move to the top of the 6th, is a 1-run lead.
They've been very tough in this game. Hopefully Cardinals get the offense going like they did in the first 2 games.
Well, going into this game, the bullpens have struggled, but look at the ERA for Cincinnati, over 14. It was an interesting move by Dusty Baker to bring in Andrusic last night in the 7th, and what he had to do was face the big bats, and he only had 1 major league appearance prior to that. That was on opening day. You can look at it 2 different ways. One, he gave you decent work on Monday, and you're thinking, hey, maybe lightning in a bottle again, give him more confidence. Or the other thing is, how much trust do I have in the other guys that are out there right now?
Massett, one of his real steady guys from a year ago, got roughed up opening day, and then he pitched brilliantly after Andrusic. Biggest mistake is he walked Brendan Ryan ahead of Albert Pujols, and Pujols and Holiday got base hits.
Slowly hit, but pulled foul by Schumacher. Skip is 1 for 2 today.
And then Herrera, the little lefty, started that inning, and he walked first man, right?
That's right. Well, he gave up the base hit to Skip, actually.
Yeah, that was it. Skip's first base hit was to Herrera.
On the ground to second. Phillips with it. 1 away. Here's Brendan Ryan. He's over 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. The 28-year-old from Los Angeles.
Tony always talks about winning series, but when you win the first 2, you got to get greedy.
Hit right side and into the seats, out of play. Brendan Ryan last year hit .301 as a shortstop. Remember, beginning of the year, Khalil Green was there, so his playing time was at third. It was at second base. And at .301 at short, that trailed only Hanley Ramirez and Miguel Tejada. And Tejada is now in Baltimore. And Ramirez, of course, the outstanding player with the Marlins. Think about that series he had against the Braves in Atlanta. Brendan Ryan played both second base and shortstop and showed everybody what he can do with his great range and relaxing and a chance to play.
Well, he really showed everyone he could play. The one question you have right now is he has to show he can stay on the field.
It's sharply, but rolling to his left. Makes the play.
Another outstanding play by Scott Rowland as he was playing in, and a hard hit ball on his toes. That little short step knocks it down, picks it up. The difference maker, the gunman.
So 2 outs, and Pujols reached on an air by Rowland in the first, and then the strikeout in the fourth. The best opportunity for the Cardinals was in the first. Remember, that was the infield fly rule that was confusing to everybody at the time and got Arroyo out of a jam.
As long as an infielder can make the play, they can call that. They can be out in the outfield grass. But as it turned out, it was called maybe a bit premature as Phillips really struggled with it and ended up being about 4 or 5 feet away from the ball when it fell. But Mike Riley, the crew chief, called it.
Pujols off the end of the bat into center. And Stubbs there to put it away. Good defense behind the right-hander today. 1-0 Reds midway through 6. Bottom of the 6th. Here at the Great American Ballpark. And let's go pitch by pitch on Pujols.
Arroyo master changing speeds. Breaking ball away. Watch how they don't want to have anything to the short part of the field. Another slider. Different angle, though. So he goes out there, and then a little bit of a hanger of a curveball, but right off the end of the bat, taking the distance away and in the glove of the center fielder.
It was 2003 when they opened up this ballpark. The Great American Ballpark. Penny back to work. And here is Joey Votto. They lost that game 10-1 against the Pirates as they opened it up. Votto today has walked. He is single. Back to Penny for the first out.
6 innings today. There's only one time did the leadoff man reach base, and he was erased back in the 4th inning by a double play off the bat of Phillips, who's now up.
I've seen him use a lot of his off-speed stuff, and more than I can remember watching him on the opposition.
And I'm sure that's an influence of Dave Duncan.
Off-speed pitch there. You think about second baseman now in baseball, Alan. You know, when you were playing, it wasn't so much guys hitting for power, but now you got Dan Ugla, Phillips, Chase Utley. You know, those guys are big boppers in the middle of the lineup.
Morgan did okay.
Yeah.
Won a couple back-to-back MVPs.
He threw out the first pitch last night.
Yeah,
Joe Morgan, the Hall of Famer.
Saw Joe, and he said he'd see the Cardinals this Sunday. doing the game Sunday night.
1-1 pitch. Tied him up. Joe Morgan, war number 8.
Bobby Grich. How about the year that Davey Johnson had playing with the Atlanta Braves at 40+ home runs?
Two balls, 2 strikes. Al even had to text in the U.S. Cellular text poll.
I did? Oh, yeah, I did.
The Cardinals' biggest rival. Anytime you have a chance to do that, you will.
Absolutely.
The 2-2. There's a sparse crowd today. Number of Cardinal fans in the seats. Walt Jocketty was asked about that. Trying to turn around the culture here in Cincinnati. He said it's pretty easy. You win.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you get people to come back.
Well, they have about 7 losing seasons.
This is a similar market to St. Louis. But they could do that with their young pitching. Roldis Chapman will make his debut.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Reds have finished below 500 for 9 consecutive seasons.
Two. Oh, nice play by Lopez. The pick by Pujols on the other end. Tremendous play by Felipe Lopez. How about the third baseman in this game today?
Well, it's been pretty good. Let's see how much this ball comes up on him. That's what made it such a tough play, is those soft hands as the ball, he's playing to the side. The ball right before it got to him skipped up a little higher than what he anticipated, but he was equal to the task. Made a nice play, low throw the other end, and it looked like Albert made a nice scoop.
Some good plays on both sides today. Here's Scott Rowland. 0 for 2 today. Now 35 years of age. He'll have a contract that'll take him through 38. I asked Walt before the game, I said, is Scott Rowland, in your opinion, a Hall of Famer? Eventually, if he stays healthy. He said, I really haven't thought about it, but you know, but before it's all said and done, he's going to have numbers that are very, very good. And remember, Tony, his time in St. Louis, said that Rowland, if he stayed healthy, could be a guy that would be considered for the Hall of Fame. Some consider the best player defensively ever at third base. And Walt said, put it this way, he'll be, before it's all said and done, in consideration. He said that good of a career.
I don't think there's any doubt. He'll be over 500 doubles. He'll be over 300, 350, probably somewhere in that vicinity in home runs. He's at 1129 in RBIs, and he just struck out.
So Brad Penny picks up his third. Holiday coming up. This is brought to you by Lumiere Casino. Lumiere Place Casino is giving away $10. Go to Lumiere Casino the day after the Cardinals play. And by AT&T. AT&T, a better 3G experience. Matt Holliday will lead it off for the Cardinals.
It's getting late, partner.
Yes, it is. 7th inning. Holliday, Rasmus, and Lopez. The Cardinals, you know, something that happens if you play both Schumacher and Lopez, you are strictly right-handed on your bench, and that's what we have today.
I don't think I've ever been associated with a club that has no left-handed hitter off their bench. You know, Lopez switch hitter.
Holliday out to deep left field. Did he get enough? Gomes back. It's gone, and this game is tied. Matt Holliday And it's 1-1. The solo home run here in the 7th. It's a sonic blast of the game by Matt Holliday. And a regular size sonic blast is only 99 cents tomorrow at St. Louis area Sonic location, Sonic, America's Drive-In. It's also our Hyundai long drive inning. Make sure that you head to your local Hyundai dealer for details. The Hyundai long drive inning is back.
You know, they set up inside. He totally misses. And Holliday hits that right off the end of the bat. But that was a swing where he was reaching. That ball shouldn't go out. Thankfully it did. But I mean, that's how this ballpark at times can be a joke.
You know, even Cabrera's home run last night.
Right.
You know, it just didn't seem like he got all of it to get out of here. You know, Molina's grand slam, even Pujols' line shot to right center, just snuck over the wall. But especially when you talk about the balls that are hit to left.
I've seen more balls to dead center field here than you see at most ballparks too. Now Arroyo's fallen behind as he has pitched one heck of a ball game, but is slipping away here in the 7th.
We showed you earlier the bullpen with an ERA of over 14 in the first 2 games for the Reds. No activity right now in either bullpen. If the first 2 games are any indication, this is why you have Rasmus Al in that 5th spot in the lineup. You want to see him do some damage, and he's delivered.
Yeah, a lot of people want to say, well, his ideal spot would be number 2 in this order, but I think Tony, what he saw in spring training, thought that no, he's going to have so much of a offensive impact. He's going to be in an RBI position.
He draws another walk, and as you talked about, it's good to see that he's seeing the ball so well at the plate. That's his 2nd walk of the day. And that's 5 in the first 3 games. Let's go back to our biggest rival question, the National League Central Division. Not a shock to me, the Cubs 81%. You were part of that U.S. Cellular text poll. Here's Lopez. Twice he's grounded out to short.
I think when it's all said and done, it's not going to be a two-team race like the fans think. I think it's going to be a little more competitive in the division this year.
In the air, left field. Gomes. First out here in the 7th. So Felipe is over 3, and it brings in Allen Craig. Craig is lined out to 3rd and grounded out sharply to short. So twice he's hit the ball hard, and I'm sure that's something that Hannigan has noted. So he was out to visit.
And maybe the fact that Jason LaRue is 1 for 16 in his career against Arroyo, so it's kind of the unknown guy. So don't, be careful. Consider more, he had very good numbers, power numbers, but really a line drive type hitter.
First pitch is a strike to Craig.
Yeah, he kind of wraps that bat, almost pointing it towards the pitcher in his preparation. And sometimes kind of his head moves up. But they were concerned about that. Would he be able to hit at this level? And he's shown he can.
Craig with a high fly ball into right center. Who wants it? It'll be Bruce. Not too late to get a 2010 season ticket plan. Choose from full season, 40-game, or 27-game plans, and each plan includes a hefty discount off the gate price, plus lots of additional perks. For details, visit Cardinals.com today. So it's up to LaRue to extend the inning. was noticing what you're talking about with the bat. Not quite Kevin Youkilis, but
no.
Still similar.
Part of a trigger mechanism, but it makes your makes it a little longer approach. It's a big key right here. You have to have somebody warming up, don't you?
I would think. You got Penny on deck, but I don't see anybody warming up. That's Herrera.
There's nobody warming up for us, and that's
what you were talking about, because you get Penny coming up in an RBI situation. You know, would you be willing to go to your bullpen?
I think you would have to, even though it would be a 2-out opportunity.
And you may be wondering why Dusty Baker would have a lefty getting loose with an all right-handed bench, and the reason why is that Herrera is able to get with a screwball right-handed batters out.
I think I mentioned the other day, he may be one of those guys that equally effective, because that screwball, sometimes, you know, left-handed hitters neutralize it, take that away from you. It's got a slider that he can feature to the lefties, but the screwball is a pitch designed to get right-handed batters out.
Oh, 2 the count. LaRue reaches for it. A lazy fly ball to Jay Bruce. The Cardinals, behind Holiday's home run, have tied it up 1-1, and it's time to stretch. Baseball, Cardinals and Brewers, early season showdown. Fox Saturday Baseball returns Saturday at a special time of 2. Following This Week in Baseball at 1:30 on Fox. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. 1-1 game, bottom of the 7th.
How do you like Penny's debut?
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. You know, he 2-out base hit to the 8th place hitter, and then the pitcher, Bronson Arroyo, got him for an RBI single. But those were 2 pretty good at bats, 2 pretty good battles, but he has been so good in the 6 innings so far. He's only allowed the leadoff man to reach once.
Here's Bruce, and defense has been a story today for both sides. Last time up, he hit a rocket to Pujols, tried to backhand it, went off his glove, in the air to Schumacher, and Brad Penny, no hesitation, covering first. And Bruce also struck out in the 2nd. 1-0 pitch by Brad Penny. On the ground to Schumacher, to Albert for the out. Well, you don't worry about Schumacher anymore at second base, do you?
No, you don't. I mean, he's just so fluid. Talked about a year ago at this time, you know, he had trouble sleeping. But I think with a lot of hard work from working with Bettini and Jose Oquendo, and the hard work was put in by Skip, but a lot of confidence building from his teammates. He's pretty comfortable there now.
Guys like Tony Womack, Fernando Vina, Gridzelanic was there. The Cardinals signed Junior Spivey at one point.
Yeah. You know, and that seemed like a good signing at the time. Just didn't work out.
Aaron Miles, Adam Kennedy. Aaron Miles actually was with the Reds in spring.
Didn't make the team.
Swing and a miss by Jonny Gomes. Schumacher played shortstop in high school and 1 year in college. He said this time last year, I was talking with him the other day, I was visiting, and he said I was losing sleep over my defense. And yet he still hit 300 for the year. Good pitch. So strikeout number 4 for Penny.
Good breaking ball off the plate, and Gomes expands the zone and gets himself out.
Well, Brad Penny is due up first for the Cardinals, looking ahead to the top of the 8th. Remember 2 innings ago, he was sailing along with the first 2 outs and nobody getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen, and then all of a sudden he ran into trouble. And it began with this man, Ryan Hannigan.
Yeah, after a good little battle as Hannigan fouled off some tough pitches, he doubled. And then the same thing happened with Arroyo. But I would think they would pinch hit for him, but those guys in the bullpen would have plenty of time to get loose after Penny finishes this half of the inning.
Now it would be interesting to see what direction Tony wants to go. He has not used Hawksworth yet this season. We haven't seen Mitchell Boggs.
Hawksworth late in spring was kind of sidelined with a little groin pull, but I think he would be my choice if he has enough time to get loose. And that's a question with Boggs also.
This is tapped off the plate. Lopez, do or die play. Might have been better off just to see if it would roll foul. And Hannigan has himself an infield hit. Now Dusty Baker has a decision to make here with Arroyo.
I think, you know, being the first start, you got a pinch hit. And they're going to send him out there. That tells you how much confidence he has in his bullpen. You know, Hawksworth and Boggs, 2 converted starters, seem like they probably need a little more time to get loose. The guy we haven't seen, and depending where we are in the order, you know, we haven't seen Trevor Miller yet. And Reyes has been very reliable in the first 2 games. I think maybe McClellan would be off limits today.
Yeah, we were trying to think if he would be before the game, considering, and if it was back-to-back games, it's one thing, but it was opening day, day off, and then the night game, which he pitched in both.
And it's so interesting because, you know, when I played, there was no such thing as days off. Now, you might know when the manager wanted to give you a day off, but you were never told that because you had a responsibility. Of course, you were also dealing with a 9 or 10 man pitching staff.
Strike 2.
I think Penny would bear down a little bit tougher after allowing the RBI hit to Arroyo his last time up.
2-2. Would be Penny, Spot, then Schumacher, Ryan, if anybody can reach Pujols for the Cardinals in the 8th. Good ball game here in Cincinnati.
Pretty good rip on those 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. He got a breaking ball. Is what he lifted into center field for the RBI. That was after a couple splitters that he either got a piece of or just below the strike zone. Then he threw him a curveball and got the base hit. But I've been very impressed with Penny.
Ground ball pulled foul. 2-2 the count with 2 outs and a runner at first in a 1-1 game. Cool, chilly afternoon here in Cincinnati. One thing that really impresses you about Penny is his control for a guy that's a power pitcher. And the count.
First pitch strikes has been outstanding. Walk 2.
He's just running back right now and letting it rip. 21 of 27 first pitch strikes.
Pitch count at 98. Splitter.
And a ground ball taken by Brendan Ryan, who throws and makes the play. Reds have stranded 5. Good outing for Penny. Cardinals, 6 against Brad Penny. And Penny's day is through. Ryan Ludwig will be the pinch hitter for the Cardinals. Let's give you the scoring. 2-out base hit in the 5th for the pitcher, Bronson Arroyo. And then last inning, leading off was Matt Holliday. And he would connect on a solo home run. And this made it 1-1, and that's where we stand. And Arroyo is still standing on the mound.
And let's hope he can reward Penny and get a couple runs here and make him a winner.
So all right-handed bench for Tony. And here's Ludwig, and Boggs is getting loose. Ludwig did not look comfortable, as we noted, in his final 2 at-bats last night, but made 2 great plays defensively in the 9th to save the game.
He can do that. He can look bad and then turn around the next day and hit about 5 ropes.
Off the end of the bat here, reaching for it.
Yeah, that ball carry.
Sure is. Stubbs makes the catch in front of the track. And it brings in Skip Schumacher.
So key to get somebody on base. So Albert could come up with a man on.
Skip signed a 2-year contract extension in the offseason, and John Mozeliak talked about that contract being cost certainty. Cardinals will have 10 players signed through 2011. The core is signed up too. Molina, and Wainwright, Pujols, Holiday,
Carpenter.
Yeah. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Skip today has singled and grounded out twice. Once to short, the other time to second.
And really, you've got to say that Albert, it's just a formality to pick up his option after this year for 1 more year.
Floats in there for a strike. Now we know that Arroyo's a guy that's got that rubber arm and can go deep into games, but this is his first start, and Dusty Baker's staying with him. Pitch count at 97. Schumacher, base hit out to left. 2-hit day for the Cardinal leadoff man. That's what you're talking about there when you know he's right.
Yeah, that's it. Schumacher swinging the bat well. He hits those line drives out to left over the shortstop's area. The play set up away and just doing him a favor. You can see that good approach going in the opposite way. The ball elevated a little bit. Now, barring a double play, you give Albert a shot with a runner on base.
Outfield straight away for Brendan Ryan. He was robbed last time up by Rowland. Twice he has gone that way. Go for 3 today. Strikeout and 2 groundouts over to Scott Rowland.
Cardinals only have 4 hits on the day.
Just want to avoid the double play here.
Yes.
Pujols standing on deck. Arthur Rhodes and Nick Massett getting loose. Lefty and a righty for Dusty Baker in their bullpen.
That bullpen for the Reds last year had the 3rd best ERA in the National League, and it's up to 14 now. We know it won't stay that way, but Massett, big part of that opening day explosion late is he allowed 5 runs, including Molina's grand slam.
Check on Schumacher. This will be pitch number 100 this afternoon for Bronson Arroyo. And Ryan takes a strike. Royal hit his spot they set up right there.
Breaking ball down and away. A guy like Bronson Royal, you would think you would have more balls going to the opposite field rather than pulling them. They've been rolling over in a lot of his pitches. A lot of his pitches have been off speed. A lot of them have been away.
Like that. And that's a pitch outside. You take that the other way. Steady strikes out for the second time. And let's take a look at Fox tracks as Pujols will dig in.
You see the breaking ball there, and just, reverting back to where he's almost running before swinging. Not that center of gravity that he and Mark McGwire have talked about.
So here is Albert Pujols. Very, very deep for the Cardinals slugger. Holiday on deck.
And nothing gets over your head. You let a base hit fall in front of you, but nothing gets over your head that stays in the ballpark.
Reached on an air, struck out, and flied out to center. First pitch taken high. Cardinals tied it up on a Holiday home run in the 7th. Go-ahead run is at first. That's good speed over there in Schumacher. One-oh pitch. Inside. 2 balls, no strikes. This is where things have changed this year for the Cardinals. When you talk about, if you wanted to pitch around Pujols here, now you have Holiday. It's a big, big difference this time last year.
Holiday did get him for the home run, and he does have 2 hits on the day, 2 for 3.
(3-0). Arroyo has walked 2 this afternoon.
Arroyo's going that Albert's hit 3 home runs off me. Holiday had struggled prior to today. He has as many hits today off him as he did in his career coming in. He was 2 for 12. He's 2 for 3 today.
On 3-0. Pujols takes a walk. Matt Holiday has tied it up. Can he put the Cardinals on top? He's got a Hardy's prime cut of the game. His solo home run in the 7th.
So that ball should not be hit out with that type of swing. We know he's big and strong, but he's out on his front foot. He's reaching for a ball. It hits it off the end of the bat, and yet it carries out of this ballpark.
Brian Price, the new pitching coach for Dusty Baker, out to visit. Split time the last 10 years between the Mariners and Diamondbacks. And here is Holiday. Holiday had that odd double play on the infield fly rule back in the 1st. He singled and homered. You saw Schumacher. He's in scoring position out at second base. First pitch to him. Strike 1. Dusty Baker staying with his starter here at pitch count up to 106.
Kind of have to once you made that commitment.
Well, Dusty has heard it before, though. As Holiday hits it out the end of the bat. This will carry to Bruce, but how he handled certain pitches in Chicago and staying with them maybe too long. Arroyo pitches out of the jam. Game. 4 hits for the Cardinals. That's it. Doing more on defense is brought to you by the Home Depot. This was early on in the ball game, and watch this. Just a line shot off the bat of Colby Rasmus off of Arroyo. Rolling with charge, barehanded, and made the play.
Mitchell Boggs is our call to the bullpen, brought to you by Chevrolet. Mitchell's first appearance of the year. He struggled this spring, and one of the things he did was struggle with command. made 9 starts for the Cardinals while making 7 relief appearances out of the bullpen. The team was 7-2 in his 9 starts. They liked his ability out of the bullpen. He throws in the mid-90s.
And he'll get the top of the lineup. Our crowd today, 13,445. And the first pitch is a strike. Our gun at 96, and that's one of the reasons that, as you talked about, they like him in this spot. He can let it loose, and he'll throw in that mid to high 90s range. Strike 2.
Slider there. In 2008, he led the PCL, the Pacific Coast League, with 3.45 ERA. Tied for the team lead in wins.
Out of Dalton, Georgia. 5th round selection for the Cardinals. Misses a spot badly there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stubbs today has popped out to Pujols, rounded out to short, and walked. Impressive debut for Brad Penny. 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, both the starters are outstanding, and we anticipate that Arroyo is through.
Good slider that time by Boggs as he gets Stubbs to chase for the first down.
You mentioned like in pitch 3, he was 0-2, excuse me, 0-2, and you said he kind of missed badly, but to me I didn't mind it because it was inside, and at least, you know, kind of get them conscious of the ball inside so you can go and get them out of the way, and threw a slider out there and a real weak attempt.
Working out of the bullpen is nothing new for Mitchell Boggs. He attended the University of Georgia. He was mostly used out of the bullpen in his college days. He is throwing smoke right now.
96 on the hands, and Cabrera couldn't get around him.
Just part of a team in 2004 that won the SEC. They went to the College World Series. He was a mainstay in that bullpen.
One thing I'm concerned about is, you know, throwing strikes, and so far he's done that.
Here's the 0-1. Strike 2.
See right there, they're not diving across the plate to try and hit that ball. They're reaching for it. Of course, that fastball in your hands will get you to reach.
Cardinals will have Rasmus, Lopez, and Craig coming up, looking ahead to the 9th. Boggs trying to send us there tied up at 1. Only 10 hits total in this game. 4 for the Cardinals, 6 for the Reds. Cabrera today 1 for 3 with a strikeout and a ground out. Outside 2-2. .58 innings last year for Boggs. They had 33 walks. That's not what you want to see. Full count. You're Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa. You're trying to figure out your bullpen right now, and even though it's a tight game, you got to see what you have with Boggs. You got to see what you've got with Hawksworth.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You know.
3-2. Little grounder hit to Felipe Lopez. 2 outs. And with 2 down, it brings in Joey Votto. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Sign of confidence as they
stick with Boggs against the dangerous Votto here.
Don't have one of their 2 lefty specialists to come in. Oliver Miller is warming up, but you've got two more dangerous right-handed batters after Votto
before you get to Bruce. Out of play again, strike two. You gotta like what you see from Boggs so far.
Well, that's what I say. As long as he's throwing strikes, you like it. Fastball away. And when you're ahead in the count and catcher calls that fastball away, he hit it. Hit the spot.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Votto. He's 2 for 4 in his career against Mitchell Boggs. Now 3 for 5. Just a nice piece of hitting there. He's on base for the 3rd time. 2 singles and a walk.
And it's a single. You get 2 outs. You keep the ball in the ballpark.
He really went down to get this pitch, it looked like.
Traditionally, low ball hitters. So it just seemed like that's their natural art, is to go down. And boy, he caught that and just flipped it with his wrist.
So here's Brandon Phillips. He's fly to right. Grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. And he was robbed by Felipe Lopez over at third his last time up. 2 outs, runner at first. Scott rolling on deck. If Phillips can extend it.
Fastball.
Hit out of play and foul. Joey Votto not a threat to steal. Had 4 steals last year in 131 games and a total of 12 in his career. Very deep in the outfield.
Once again, they don't let a ball over your head. They give up a single in front of you, but no extra base hit.
Here's a 1-1. Strike 2. Phillips couldn't pull the trigger.
These Reds have looked very uncomfortable facing Boggs today.
Thinking along here with Dusty Baker, you've got Colby Rasmus coming out. What did you think about starting the inning with a lefty, making Tony maybe go to his bench? And the closer, Cordero, is getting loose.
This may be one of those times where, like you said, think about bringing in Rhodes, and then you've got Cordero you can save.
Yeah. 2-2, big pitch here.
Do not want that 3-2 pitch where that runner could take off. So this is the pitch.
And it goes to 3-2. So Votto off with the next delivery.
He went 3-2 to Votto, or Cabrera before he got him.
There he goes. And that is ball 4. Then he started with a strikeout on Stubbs. Cabrera grounded out. Votto the base hit. He went down to get it. Phillips draws the walk. He's on base for the first time. And here's the former Cardinal Scott Rowland.
Dave Duncan out to pay a visit. He'll be his last batter.
Bruce, the lefty, is on deck. Seven strong innings from Brad Penny. 8 from Bronson Arroyo, the starter for the Reds. And now it's up to the bullpens. Roland is grounded into a fielder's choice, grounded out to third, and struck out swinging in the 6th. Go-ahead run is at second base. First pitch catches the outside corner, and Roland didn't like it.
Appeared that it was a little outside, but it matters what Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, thinks. Slider off the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike. We've seen the Cardinals again consistently go to that outside portion of the plate on Roland.
The ball jumps to left field, so why not?
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Popped out. Schumacher calling for it. He's got it. Boggs out of the 8th inning jam. Colby Rasmus coming up in the 9th of a 1-1 game. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By AT&T Uverse, a better TV experience. Visit AT&T.com for details. And by Bank of America, Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Well, the rain certainly has stayed away. A chilly afternoon here in Cincinnati. Their fine closer will come into the ballgame here in the 9th, tied up 1-1. And it's part of our Chevy call to the bullpen. We saw him in the series already one time, and that's Francisco Cordero, 34-year-old, 6'3", 240-pounder out of the Dominican Republic, and he'll get Colby Rasmus. And the first pitch is taken for a strike. Now, Dusty could have played it this way, which, you're at home, tie game 9th, you bring in your closer, or, you go with a lefty to start the inning and maybe turn around Lopez too.
I mean, traditionally, this is what you do. You bring in your closer in the 9th inning, but
you see that Cordero a season ago had 39 saves, all-star year, and 43 opportunities. Trevor Hoffman, we'll see him this weekend. Milwaukee Brewers, he's closing in on 600 saves. Mariano Rivera that started the year at 526.
When he's 6 or 7 away. Trevor Hoffman from 600.
Billy Wagner will be closing in on 400. Cordero at an even 250. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cordero's a 3-time All-Star. Did it with Texas, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati.
133 saves in the National League, 117 in the American League. One of only 11 pitchers to have 100 or more in each league.
Ooh, just missed. That late tailing action, full count on Rasmus. Colby seeing the ball so well, drawing walks, and he strikes out. First strikeout for Cordero, the first man that he sees.
Fastball running and in the strike zone.
There's Felipe Lopez, got the start at third base today. Twice he has grounded out to short. He's also flied out to left over 3. Roland in a step or 2 over at third, even with the bag, and the first pitch is taken for a ball. Lopez a threat to drop down a bunt. Used as a pinch hitter in the first couple of games and a start today. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Reds will have Jay Bruce, Jonny Gomes, and Ryan Hannigan coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Lopez 2 for 7 against this right-hander. still can get it up there in the mid-90s. Cordero came over from the Brewers along with Kevin Mensch and Lance Nix. Exchange for Carlos Lee and Nelson Cruz. It's hit sharply to first. Votto is guarding the line and steps on the bag.
Went off that time, didn't it?
Sure did. Positioned perfectly.
But you see him just a step or so off the line, so right between his legs, tells his pitcher, I'll get it.
And it's up to Alan Craig, making his major league debut today. He's lined out to third, grounded to short, and flied out to right.
How about a game-winning home run?
Time a breaking ball and a knee buckler.
You saw how he kind of comes up, and that's what sometimes they're worried about. Would he be exposed against these harder throwers?
0-2. Got him. 2 strikeouts for Cordero here at the top of the ninth. The game. That's a look at his line. 7 innings, 1 run he allowed that was earned. Only 6 hits. 1-1 game, bottom of the ninth here in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark. Cardinals trying to pick up the sweep. And the Cardinals will turn it over to Trevor Miller after the work by Mitchell Boggs. He got out of the jam in the bottom of the 8th. We saw Trevor in Minnesota, and he was out of whack. But he was so good a year ago. 70 appearances, 4-1 ERA, just over 2. Parlayed that year into a contract extension with the Cardinals.
Stavanoa goes into right field as part of a double switch, so Stavanoa will be the second hitter, and Jason LaRue will get together with him. With Trevor Miller, who was so good a year ago, held left-handed batters to a 135 average. 70 appearances, only had runs scored against him in 8 of those 70.
Here's Bruce. For 3 today. And the first pitch is a strike. Well, Miller was saying over the weekend that mechanically he was just out of whack, but a guy that's been around a long time, he said it doesn't take me that long to figure it out. You know, once I get back out there, I go play catch, I figure out what was going on, and right back on track. Bruce pops it up. Playable. Pujols, fair territory, makes the catch, battling the wind.
And that is something really a reliever has to do. And Trevor only has one man. He gets him, and Tony's already bounced out of that dugout, bringing in a right-hander. Mott.
So Trevor Miller gets his man, Jay Bruce, who's 0 for 4. Mott coming in when we come back. Jason Mott, his numbers from a year ago, 69 appearances, 5th among National League rookies. Led the team with 30 holds. Very good spring. He was 1-0 in 9 appearances. And he appeared on opening day with 2/3 of an inning, gave up a couple of hits, a run that was earned, walked 1 and struck out 1. It's Jonny Gomes, who's 1 for 3. 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Gomes a single back in the second to right field. He's flied to left and also struck out. Upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes, and Mott This was the case in opening day, falling behind on these hitters.
And it's another situation where you got a young guy out there that's got a lot of promise, still trying to harness his pitches in the strike zone.
2-1.
And one thing I'll say, Mott is, at least at this stage of this year, is throwing harder than he did early in the season last year.
2-2. So Chris Perez picked up a save last night for the Indians over the White Sox.
Saw that also. It's closing there now that Kerry Wood is hurt.
2-2. Pulled foul. Kerry Wood could be out for more than 2 months, they're saying. Out to left. Walk-off home run and a winner for Jonny Gomes and the Reds. They salvage a game and win this one off of Mott. 2-1.
Falling behind the count when you have to throw just fastballs, and this kid's got some power, and he jumps on a high fastball and hits that line drive out to left field. Mott knew it, Holiday knew it, no place to go but into the dugout, and you don't want to see the Red celebration.
So the Cardinals dropped their first game of 2010. Back with more in the postgame show coming up.